Hi, I'm Alex, and this is a Maya to Unity workflow tutorial for OUVR. Okay, so in this tutorial we're going to be going over how to make a game object for VR starting in Maya and bringing it into Unity. So here's something that I've been working on in my own time, and I'm just going to start with a little bit of a refresher, which is why we have these models here. So the first thing you need to do is remember to delete your history, so you can do that by going here. I've already done it, but let's go through the actions anyway. You just go Edit, Delete by Type, History. And that's important because sometimes when you go in the attribute editor, there's an area and you can just keep going for hours. So you pretty much want, usually around like 4 little tabs. And that's just like nice, clean workflow and not too much to bring into Unity. The second thing, that little refresher is right now, you have to remember to convert to poly. Sometimes it's just a smooth preview. And let me show you a little example of that. So if we wanted to do a smooth preview on this, hit 3, that's pretty smooth. Now, if we wanted to bring that into Maya, even though you could just use a sphere, you go to Modify, Convert, Smooth Mesh Preview to Polygons, and now we have a lot more polygons. And the next thing that we would need to do to get this into a game is go to Mesh, Reduce, and you can kind of play with the numbers a little bit here and see how that changes and see if you can kind of keep the quality that you were looking for. Like I said, if you need an object like this, just use a sphere. Go easy on yourself. Alright, so that's stuff that I've already done to this guy over here. As you can see, there's a significant difference in the number of polygons. And let's see, let's move these things out of the way. So the next thing that we're going to need to do is remember to have everything connected into one game object. So you notice how I click the door and the handle lights up. Just remember to do that unless you want the door and the handle to be completely separate. That could be your creative vision, and I'm fine with that. But always remember that you have the tools, mesh available here or here. But I like to use it here, so let's just pretend like they're not together. So you click here. If you were to select that and export it, you would only get the door part and not the handle. So just drag, select, combine. That's going to fix a lot of problems for you. So the next thing that we're going to do is, it's already kind of there, but we need to make sure that our object is centered in the way that we need it to transfer it over to Unity. So right now we pretty much have everything on 0, and we have it just sitting perfectly on the x-axis. And I will show you a better perspective of that just perfectly. And I'll explain why we do that in a second. The next thing we need to do is modify freeze transformations. And I've already done that on this one. And then the next thing is modify reset transformations. And this goes back to why we have it sit on the x-axis. So actually, a good workflow technique from any 3D modeling program to Unity is to remember to reset your axis and get your pivot point lower. That way, when you're bringing these game objects in, there's actually a function in Unity where you can snap to the terrain or to like the plane or the floor, your space that you've created, and it makes it a lot easier to assemble. So the next thing that we need to check is a little unconventional. I don't know if you'll see this on a lot of tutorials, but me personally, with my experience with Maya, it's important to remember to go to Windows and then Settings and Preferences. So we're going to be exporting this as an FBX file, and I just didn't really like to do that because it keeps everything you need together, doesn't leave anything out, and it works great for what we're trying to do. But Maya, sometimes its plugin manager gets kind of weird. So go to Windows, Settings, Preferences, and then Plugin Manager. We got to make sure that FBX is even there. So it'll be like this. You type in FBX. All of these boxes should be checked. If they're not, go ahead and check them. Take a deep breath. I know it's frustrating. I don't know why those get unchecked. If I knew, I would tell you. So maybe there'll be a tutorial for that in the future. Go ahead and close. All right, great. Now select that, and we're going to go to File, Export Selection. Don't hit Export All because you're going to get the rest of the stuff in your file and some stuff that you didn't select. And so Export Selection. Oh, I always hit the square here. Make sure that says FBX XBX Export. Export Selection. Okay, so this part's important. Know where to save it. Got the path. Different ways to set the path. So under Options, go ahead and scroll down and make sure Embed Media is checked, because as you can see, I kind of had like a procedural mapped like bump map and a nice texture that I wanted to keep. So if you want to keep that and move that into Unity, just make sure to check embed media. I'm going to say that is door. Let's see, 03. Got to get this tutorial right. I've been practicing. All right, so let's export that selection. Now we're going to go ahead and switch over to Unity. Okay, great. So when you're in Unity, how you actually get assets in is you go to, there's just like any program, there's a few ways to do it, but I find this way the easiest. Assets, import new asset, and then just find it in the directory. So door 3, great, import. So now it's going to be in your project area. Go ahead and drag that up into the hierarchy. And the hierarchy is what's actually in the scene, while the project is kind of like your library. Now the gizmos here are going to be the same, and for the most part, so are the hotkeys. So I'm going to hit R for scale. Scale that up so we can see it. There we go. It's in Unity. This is great, and because we have it centered, that's fantastic. All right, now, do you guys see what I'm seeing here? Where did that texture go? Let's go ahead and set up another light so we can get a better view. I'm gonna hockey door move this a little bit. It's definitely not there. Okay, so let's check our materials in our little project library area. Go ahead and click on door, and these are just for the handle. So door, and then hit, under main maps, go ahead and hit normal map, and hit if you create a texture in Maya and that has a map, it should always be associated with your file, which is like direct file management. So click that, and then it should show up. It's a little funky on top, but it's a procedural map. What can you do? And that is how you make sure that your textures come in cleanly. Sometimes I've noticed personally in my work with Unity and SteamVR, the materials, I end up just editing a little bit more in Unity because it's the final product. In the future, I'm going to make sure that, you know, this brown will be the same as, oh, not Microsoft Word. Hold on, we don't need to see my essays, but is this brown? But I'm just kind of, I don't actually mind editing it along the way, and I just figured I would be kind of candid about that. But yeah, that's how you get that into Unity, and from then on, you just keep at it and having fun. So look forward to the next tutorial, and thank you for watching.